Hey, I have been pushing educating yourself on your auto insurance policy for well over a month while I've been promoting this contest and really for years on various topics right here on the podcast. Let's find out today what have we learned and who's going to win the drawing for the tickets, for the jersey, for all the other great things right here on Monday Morning Lawyer. Good morning, everybody. It's your accident and injury guy, Jobeth Bowers. I'm coming at you right here from my Elkton office. As a little bit of a heads up, I have mentioned this on the podcast a couple times in the past couple of weeks that my office is moving. That move is taking place this Friday, May 8th. We don't expect any sort of disruptions. If you are a current client or a new client looking for assistance with an automobile accident, our phones, as you can see, I'm already set up in the new office, and we've got another staff member who will be set up here by Friday morning. We will be a little short-staffed as far as being able to answer calls, but we are here, we are working, and we will be absolutely back to full steam by the following Monday, May 11th, which will be, hey, when we do the next edition of this podcast. So for over a month, we have led up to today. I have been talking about reviewing your auto insurance policy, having me review your auto insurance policy, what we're looking for, and why it matters with certain elements of your automobile insurance policy. And during the month of April and the past few days leading up to today, if you have navigated to marylandinsuраncebook.com, and yep, there it is, sent me your insurance policy. Most of you, I have already done the reviews and sent them back. I have a few more that I'll be finishing up this week. So if you haven't seen that yet, don't worry. I got your entry. You're entered. You'll see your name on the little wheel at the end of this podcast when we do the drawing. But if you don't have your review yet, you will by the end of this week. If we get to next week's episode and next week Monday, and you still don't have your review from me, drop me a line because maybe it went to your spam filter, and we'll get it to you. But yeah, so I want to talk about, because I don't want to just do the drawing today. I want there to be at least some sort of value and education in today's episode. I want to talk about the big things that I look for in these policies, so that if you, for whatever reason, don't want to send me your policy, don't want me to review it, that's fine. But at least know these things that you should be looking for. And I've done little video clips on how to do a self-review and things like that in the past. I just want to go through the big things because all this stuff changes from time to time. In June, the new edition of my book on buying auto insurance, which I know it's super exciting, writing a book on insurance, right? But I'm doing it because so many people have deficiencies in their policy, as I've seen over the past month, a few that I've talked about here on the podcast. So here are some of the big ticket items that I look for in Maryland on an auto insurance policy to make sure that folks are fully covered. First and foremost, I've talked about this for years. I preach this. Don't waive personal injury protection coverage, also known as PIP. Do not waive that coverage. It is a no-fault coverage, meaning that the insurance company, if you have to use this, cannot raise your rates for making a claim against your personal injury protection coverage. Now, if there are other elements and you're also using PIP, those elements may cause, let's say you cause an accident and you're injured, your rates will go up, but they'll go up because you caused the accident, because you used your collision coverage, because somebody else made a liability claim against you if they were injured. But for the portion that has to do with your PIP, paying for your injuries, your rates will not go up. And of course, if the other person's at fault for the accident, it's super helpful in knocking out some of these medical bills. Or if you are working with our office from the very beginning, oftentimes we can leverage that PIP money, if we're there from the very beginning, to pay far more of your medical bills than just $2,500. So I always recommend not only having that coverage, making sure you don't waive it. If you bought a Geico or Progressive insurance policy online, you need to be very careful because those declarations pages are very deceptive. I've had numbers of people, hundreds of people over the years as clients who thought, hey, I have this coverage, I am good to go, when in fact they waived it. And the way that it was described on the policy was very, very tricky. And again, I usually only see that when people buy those policies online. So I will get on that soapbox and tell you how important it is to have a real life agent and how it is free to you. Because when these insurance companies work with insurance agents, they pay them a commission. You don't. And the prices are the same because they're based on your situation and all of the factors that go into rating that quote. You're going to get the same price online than if you go through an agent. The difference being, if the agent screws up your policy, you've got somebody to be mad at, yell at, and fix it. If you made a mistake and have a deficiency in a policy that you purchased online, it's completely on you. So don't waive PIP. Don't get tricked into waiving PIP. This is part of the reason why I do these free reviews, because the insurance companies are being tricky about this. More and more, they find new ways to hide this waiver. And we've talked about it before. You're paying money to waive the coverage. You're paying the insurance company money to not get something that helps you or your family when you waive the coverage, because they charge you because you can't waive the coverage for passengers unless they've waived it themselves. So that's number one. Number two, check your liability limits. Make sure they are sufficient. And I tell people, imagine what you think an auto claim would be worth if you were to be hurt bad enough to need a surgery, to be out of work for a significant period of time, to have all the PT that's associated with that. What is that claim worth? It's an answer that I can have a one-on-one conversation with you, which was part of the setup for these insurance reviews. I can either send you the information or we can have a little chat where I go through scenarios. I'm happy to do it. Even though the contest is over, or will be in a couple of minutes when we do the drawing, I am always, always, always offering the free insurance review. In fact, you can go to marylandinsuраncebook.com. You can tell a friend, you can tell a family member, you can share this anywhere. I will always offer these reviews as long as I am in this business, and I will never charge a dime to do it. And I'm not an insurance agent, so there is no sales pitch. I know who some of the good local agents are. So if you need a referral and have a specific company, that I will know who is the top person in the area, somebody that I trust to not write you a bad policy, and I'll happily share their information with you. But that's up to you what to do with it. Normally, what I imagine happens is I give people these report cards and they take it and say, hey, can you give me prices to fix this? And they go to their own agent and then they fix it. So I've had reports back from some of the ones that I've done that folks have already talked to their agent. They've already fixed some of these things. One of the things that I've seen fixed several times from this past month is that the underinsured motorist limits were less than what the liability limits. The underinsured motorist coverage on your policy only protects you if you are injured and the person who caused those injuries does not have insurance or does not have enough insurance. This part of the policy potentially limits your recovery if you're injured in an accident. So when you look at this, you need to ask yourself, what do I want the ceiling to be? The most money I can get if I'm injured badly in an accident. Yes, this is there to pay you. So you know what your assets are. You know what it costs to keep your life afloat. If you were put out of work for a couple of months because of one of these accidents, imagine what that's worth for you. Make sure you have the matching coverage. It is super inexpensive to have really great insurance coverage. Once you are in what I consider to be the 250K club, you have liability limits that are $250,000 per person or more. Insurance actually gets less expensive. You might not believe me. That might not seem logical, but trust me, it's true with most insurance companies because of the fact that you're asking for better insurance. Their systems indicate that you are probably less of a risk because risky people tend to make bad decisions. Less risky people tend to make good decisions. That's where the actuarials come into play to determine those rates. The other thing I will add, another big tip and thing that I look for is a newer one in Maryland, and that is the enhanced underinsured motorist coverage. You want to make sure that you have that enhanced coverage because then your underinsured motorist coverage limits stack on top of the liability limits of the at-fault driver, which means more potential money for you. It's all about what is that ceiling? What is the most money I can recover, assuming I'm not hit by some commercial vehicle that's got a huge policy. If you get hit by a commercial vehicle that has a huge policy, a little more difficult to navigate, and I've talked about that, especially in the context of the 3 weeks almost, the very first time that my office handled a claim where an Amazon delivery vehicle hit one of our clients. It took us a long time to get those claims set up the first time, but now if you were to call us with one of those injuries, we'll have your claim set up and have your vehicle being looked at the same day, unless you call us at 4:45, then probably not that day, but the very next day. So those are the big things. Don't waive the PIP. Make sure you've got ample liability and UIM coverage, and that enhanced UIM coverage in Maryland is important. They're going to give it to you automatically on newer policies. But if you've been with a company, and most of the insurance reviews that I've seen, this is the case, they've been with the same company for 10, 20, 30 years. There's absolutely nothing wrong with loyalty. But if you still have the same vehicle and haven't changed that element of the policy since July 1st of 2025, you may not have this coverage. But it's very, very inexpensive to add it, and I highly recommend it. So that's all I want to jump out there and talk about today. It's been a lot. We're going to do the drawing. Our winner for the autographed, I keep putting it upside down, autographed Zay Flowers jersey, wonderful stuff. 2 tickets to the Ravens home opener. I am being told that it's going to be the week of May 18th that they're announcing the schedule. So it sounds like it's going to be a week later than it normally is. But once the schedule is announced, I'll be contacting the winner shortly after we do the drawing. Tickets will be delivered 2 weeks or so from now, depending on when they set the schedule. And if for whatever reason we need to work on that, the date's not good or otherwise for you, we will be flexible. We can make it work for you. So I'm going to throw up the drawing here. We've got a handful of names here who have entered in. And we are just going to go around and around, and we're going to spin it here. And it looks like that is probably Nathan H. I'm going to have to double check my records. I bet that was a typo in me transferring that over. So I'm going to assume that is Nathan and say congratulations. I will be checking out to find out what your real name is and my typo. And congratulations, you've won tickets to the home opener for the Ravens, that wonderful jersey, some gift cards to some local businesses, a month's worth of training at the Armored Combat Elkton gym right down and around the corner from where my office is. It's so much more. So that's all I have for you this week with the drawing as well as the information today. We went a little longer than I normally like to. But as always, if you are looking to find out about those old episodes of the podcast, navigate over to bowerslawmd.com. Right up at the top where it says podcast, you will find all of the past episodes. Usually they are up there within 24 hours of me doing the podcast, so that my web team gets those updated fairly quickly. As always, if you have a question that you'd like covered on the podcast, send it right there. info@bowerslawmd.com. Make sure you let me know that you want it covered on the podcast. Otherwise, I might just answer your question and move on. I'm not thinking about the podcast all day, every day. So I'm usually pretty good about when novelty type of situations occur, talking about them in a very generalized way on the podcast, but sometimes it slips through. And of course, if you are injured in an accident and you need my team to help you out, right here, 885-6200. We are there to help you out. Again, there may be some delays this Friday, the 8th, because of the office move, but I'm pretty sure that we've got things situated to the point where we should be good to go and able to answer your calls this Friday. And then by Monday, the 11th, everything will be absolutely back to normal. So be well, be safe out there. Don't forget, you can always send me your insurance policy. Go to marylandinsuраncebook.com. Shoot me an email at the info@bowerslawmd.com. That one right up there. Either way, happy to do those. Even though the contest is over, I'm still happy to give you that guidance. Make sure that you know, and do this every time. Every time you're re-rating your policy, you're getting quotes, send those by me. Even if I've already done this review. And I tell this to people while I'm doing the review. If you go shop other companies and you have a proposal, send it to me. I'll take another look at it. Be safe. See you next week.